بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والعصر إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر.
I was reading another article in terms of the preservation of the Holy Quran. And, typically in this new normal website, I tell you recommended for you. And they asked a question there: how would you define God? And I happened to click on it. It was a Huffington Post. Huffington Post, for those of you who are on the net will know, is one of the most popular e-newspapers on the internet currently. And that is no sign of its credibility or its journalistic integrity in any way. But as the internet goes, the Internet of Things is all about. It's one of the most popular e-newspapers on the internet or on the web today. The question was, how would you define God? And they had a poll which started off maybe earlier in the course of the year, and they asked readers to come in, and the catch was, define God in one word. Define God, Allah, in one word. And they came up with the top 10 definitions, or I'm using the word for our benefit. We don't define God. Descriptions. I'm using the word description. They use the word define God, and they use it God in one word. So from 1 to 10, or rather from 10 to 1, this is how people who subscribe to this newspaper defined God or described Allah. Right? Number 10, omnipotent. You know what omnipotent means? Right? Your all unending, unlimited power, the Lord. Omnipotent. Number 9, fiction. Number 8, non-existent. Number 7, almighty. Number 6, imaginary. Number 5, amazing. Right? Number 4, creator. Number 3, awesome. Number 2, everything. Number 1, love. I'm going to go through it again. 10 was omnipotent. Number 9 was fiction. Number 8 was non-existent. Number 7 was almighty. Number 6 was imaginary. Number 5 was amazing. Number 4 was creator. Number 3 was awesome. Number 2 was everything. And number 1 was love. These were the definitions or descriptions of God as presented by a poll in this e-newspaper. And it got me thinking, how would a Muslim describe Allah? If you were to describe Allah in one word, what word would it be? I'm willing to guarantee you, most of us will come up with different definitions. Some will say He's most merciful. Some will say He's most compassionate. Some will say He's omnipotent, omniscient, right? Whatever it is. But if you were to describe Allah in one word, what would be the most appropriate description or definition? What would it be? From a Quranic perspective. I don't want your own opinion. From a Quranic perspective. Well, the answer is a simple one. If you were to define and describe Allah in one word, it would be Allah. That's it. Allah. There is no better, more comprehensive, more cohesive, more brilliant definition or description of Allah than Allah. Right? Allah, if you didn't know from the terms of etymology and so on, from the roots of the word, it's Al-Ilah, the deity. Al-Ilah, right? When it's put together in normative Arabic function, it's known as Allah. Al-Ilah is Allah. And in terms of definition and description, if you were to define Allah in one word, it would be Allah. Right? Now, I'm going to give you, not necessarily in any particular order, why I said the word Allah. You're all aware that overwhelming majority of scholars regard the name Allah as His Ismul Dhat, or the name, or His essential name, or the name of His essence, of His being, Allah. Right? The reason why I chose Allah, and this is the Quranic directive, obviously, and this is Quranic guide, that the one name to define and describe Allah for the Muslim would be Allah, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala describes himself, subhanahu wa ta'ala, with the same name. Right? And let me go in no particular order, okay? But it has some degree of integration in it. Number one, you start with Surah Al-Ikhlas. Most of the verses that I'm giving in the top 10 or in the 10 verses I'm citing in terms of definition and description of Allah starts off with Allah, or alternatively starts off with He, Huwa, and then goes to Allah. Right? So it is the reason why I use those verses as well, it is because it's specifically directing you towards Allah. Other than anything else, it's directed purely towards Allah. So the first one would be an obvious one. Qul, O Prophet of Allah, say. What should the Prophet of Allah say? Huwa. Allahu Ahad. If you want to describe Allah, it starts off with Allahu Ahad. Right? Scholars have tried to translate this into English. Right? And some of the translation, I don't go into the description of the translation, but simply put, Allah in truth is one, or the only one. Right? And then, that's the first description. Allahu Ahad. Allah is singular. Allah is in truth the only one. Right? And then, Allahu Samad. Second description. Allah is As-Samad, the absolute, who is besought by all. We all seek Him. But He is in need of none. He is in need of anybody. He doesn't seek anybody. But He is besought of all, but He is not in need of anybody. Allahu Samad. Allah is the absolute. That's the second description. Then the third description is Allahu, Ayat al-Kursi. Allahu, can you see something about Allah? Allahu, la ilaha illa huwa al-hayyul qayyum. Allah, la ilaha illa hu. There is none worthy of worship except Him. Al-Hayy, the ever-living, Al-Qayyum, the self-subsisting. Ayat al-Kursi. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says there, Huwa Allah. Who is Allah? Allah, alladhi la ilaha illahu. There is none worthy of worship except Him. There is no deity except Him. Alimul ghaybi wa shahada. The one who has complete knowledge of that which is hidden and that which is known. The hidden worlds and the known worlds. Or whatever is hidden and known. Allah, alimul ghaybi wa shahada. Then, Allahu la ilaha illahu. Allah is the one, there is none worthy of worship except Him. La ilaha illahu. Lahul asma'ul husna. To Him belong the most beautiful of names. So He is Ar-Rahman, He is Ar-Rahim, right? He is Al-Malik, Al-Quddus, As-Salam, Al-Mu'min, Al-Muhaymin, Al-Aziz, Al-Jabbar, Al-Mutakabbir, you can go on. The infinite names of Allah, but the Holy Prophet ﷺ has prioritized 99 names of Allah. Right? Allahu la ilaha illahu, lahul asma'ul husna. To Him belong all the most beautiful attributed names of Allah. Then, what is the description of Allah in terms of His Zat and in terms of His attributes, in terms of His Sifat and His Af'al, His actions, okay? Then, Allahu khaliqu kulli shay. If you want to know what is Allah in terms of function, Allahu khaliqu kulli shay. Allah is the creator of everything. Khalas. Allah. Can you see I'm saying only Allah. Right? Then, Allahu yabda'ul khalq. Allah is the one who started creation, who brought creation into being. ثُمَّ يُعِيدُ, and He'll bring it back into being again. ثُمَّ إِلَيْهِ تُرْجَعُونَ, and to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala you're going to return. So the beginning of creation is by Allah, and to bring it back to life after its destruction is also in the power of Allah. Okay? Allah yabda'u al-khalqa thumma yu'idu thumma ilayhi turja'un. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the one who gives you life and takes away your life. Allahu yatawaffa al-anfusa hina mawtiha. It is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who takes away the souls permanently at the time of death. وَالَّتِي لَمْ تَمُتْ فِي مَنَامِهَا. And also, He takes away your soul temporarily at the time when you fall off to sleep. Which means that your soul, that which is your essence, that which is your life force, is in the complete control of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and not in your control. So what is Allah? Why I use this verse in particular? That if you think you are self-determining, your existence is completely determined and dependent on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allahu yatawaffa al-anfusa hina mawtiha. Then, and how is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's relation with you? Allahu latifun bi'ibadihi. And how is Allah with His servants? Allah is al-latif. There's various translations and various nuances and subtleties, because Latif is the most subtle. Allahu Latifun bi'ibadah. But in this context, the most appropriate English translation of it would be Allahu Latifun bi'ibadah. Allah is most kind in the most subtle of ways towards His servant. Yarzuqu man yasha. And He grants rizq to whomsoever He wills. Number 9, right? And number 10, if you are asked the question, define God in one word, what will it be? Qul. Say, O Prophet of Allah. Allah. Qulillah. Say Allah. Qulillah. Say Allah. Thumma dharhum fi khawdihim yal'abun. And then leave them to be, to be engaged in whatever play they are involving themselves in. Don't worry about it. Say Qul Allah. That's it. It encompasses everything. Now, why I'm bringing this point across is because although this may have been a poll in Huffington Post and whatever it is there, but in terms of us as an ummah, right, we seem to have put Allah and our relationship with our Creator on the back burner, right? The deity is on the back burner, Allah is on the back burner, and we have reified Islam. Today the focus and the priority is given to Islam. So we always talk about developing an Islamic state, right? Creating an Islamic economic system, Islamic political order, the Islamic way of life, the Islamic this and the Islamic that, and the Islamic woman and the Islamic school, and everything about Islam. We've reified Islam, and we focus more on the, on the workings and the cogs and all of those things about Islam, the laws of Islam, how Islam should be, how a financial system should be in terms of Islam and whatever it is there. But are we in a state of Islam? When Islam is an attitude, when Islam is a state of mind, when our focus is primarily on Allah, instead of the laws, instead of how to run the world, instead of how to manage all of these situations, there, what is permissible, we preoccupied with that. Yet, when you look at the way we are supposed to practice our Islam, right, and present ourselves and submit to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the unique aspect of Islam, as you know it, as a way of life or as a religion, as you may want to call it, right, would be that there is no other religion, no other ideology that prioritizes and places so much of emphasis on the name, and most importantly on the named, than Islam. Do you know how many times in the day you involuntarily take the name of Allah? Have you ever counted it? I haven't come across any other religion which prioritizes in such a subtle way, Allahu Latifun bi'ibadi, right? A person constantly taking the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now I just want to bring your attention as one example, right? Bismillah is ubiquitous. It's all over the place. And to a point when one research scholar said something very, Bismillah can be tasted, can be felt, can be smelled, can be touched. Meaning, the ubiquitousness of Bismillah and the pervasiveness of Bismillah in our lives can't be even fathomed and imagined. Just think about it. If you're an Allah conscious person, everything will be Bismillah. But what is interesting, when you start off in it, and this is where we are not conscious Muslims, right? What is that? A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. I seek refuge in Allah. A'udhu billahi. I seek refuge in Allah, in the being of Allah, in the dhan of Allah. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Right? In shaitan, the accursed one. And what do you start off immediately? Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Wait. You sought refuge in Allah from shaitan, the accursed one. With what? With ism, name, Allah. How did you seek refuge in shaitan? Allah. But what was the vehicle or the tool to seek refuge in Allah? With his ism, with his name, Allah. What I want to put across here is that the names and the name have a very close association. Obviously, it's his zat. It's the ism of his zat. Right? And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, the moment you access my name, it is as if you have accessed the named. Because the power in the name is the same as the power in the named. Because Allah is beyond comprehension, Allah is beyond physicality, corporeality, and all of these things. Allah is beyond subtlety as well. Right? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives you a point of access, and that is his ism of Allah. With the name Allah, Ar-Rahman, who is most merciful and compassionate, Ar-Rahim. Right? I seek refuge in Allah. We don't realize this. There's everything that you are supposed to do, the way the Prophet of Allah sallallahu did it in following his sunnah, would require you to invoke the name of Allah. And there is no other deen which requires of this of you to that degree, the way Islam does, on a daily basis, practically every moment in your life. Allah, Bismillah, Bismillah, Allah, in various other forms as well. If Bismillah is the private one which you invoke, right, on basic things, Bismillah, Bismillah when eating, right? Allahu Akbar is the public declaration. And Allahu Akbar is recited and invoked on every minaret throughout the world. Wherever you go, you will hear the pervasive Allahu Akbar. Allah is greater. This is the public declaration of Allah. Allahu, again, we're starting off with Allahu Akbar. Allah is greater. Allah is the greatest. Why? Allah is greater than. It's infinite. It's unending. It doesn't restrict it to the greatest, which means you came to an intiha. You understand that? Allah is greater. Allahu Akbar. Allah is above. Allah is before. Allah is beyond everything else. That is the sharh, or basic explanation of Allahu Akbar. Allah is greater. Allah is above. Allah is before. Allah is beyond. So it includes everything. Allahu Akbar. Allah is greater. Allah is greater. The problem is that in our ummah, we seem to have forgotten our focus and priority in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Right? And what we have done is that we've preoccupied ourselves with the laws of jurisprudence. We've preoccupied ourselves with the laws of theology. We've preoccupied ourselves, like I said, with the reified Islam. And very few people actually even think of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and even focus upon Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on a personal level or for that matter publicly. Yes, we engage in worship. We are all here for the ibadah of Allah. But continuously, this is the lament of people that, you know what, I don't find satisfaction in my salah. I'm not finding that degree of concentration in my salah, right? I'm not pleased with my ibadah. It's not feeding my soul, right? And what is the problem? What is this? These are the symptoms. But what is the cause of the problem? That you don't find this, you don't find the satisfaction, you don't find ruh in your ibadah and so on. It's simple. People came to Sultan al-Arifin Bayezid al-Bustami rahimahullah, and they asked him, "Ya Bayezid, you perform the famous salah that that we all do. You're in the mosque with us all the time. But why is it that you reach the spiritual heights of being Sultan al-Arifin, the king of the Masjid, and here we are where we are?" Bayezid al-Bustami gave one answer. And this is the problem of the day and the issue of the day. And what was that? He said, "You people are servants of worship. I am the servant of Allah. You are so preoccupied with the motions, you forget the emotions. You are so preoccupied with the laws, you're Jews and Jews. I always say this thing, right? We are so preoccupied with la, no, prohibited, la. We forget Allah. We are so preoccupied with the law, right, that we forget the Lord. And this is one of the crises of the Muslim Ummah that no one wants to seem to bring to the fore. Let me bring to your attention one thing that Imam Ghazali said many years ago. Hujjatul Islam Imam Ghazali. You can hold him responsible for it. When he spoke about Jawahir al-Quran, the jewels of the Quran, which I discussed in the month of Ramadan, right, he made one very pertinent statement. He spoke about the 6 divisions of the Holy Quran. And he was primarily focused on Allah. And then he said, yes, in Surah Al-Fatiha, you will find all of these attributed names of Allah, the Zat of Allah, etc. He gave the whole explanation. He said the only thing that is missing in Surah Al-Fatiha are Allah's arguments against the infidels, proving His existence. And the second thing is the judgment of the jurists, meaning the issues of fiqh. And he said the reason why it's not there, you must come to understand that in terms of priority of all the most important sciences of Islam, these are also important sciences of Islam, but in terms of priority, they fall at the lowest priority. Theology and fiqh. The reason is that people incline towards theology, kalam, and jurisprudence because of the wealth and the influence and the fame that comes with it. Why? They become master attorneys. They become lawyers. They know the law. So they speak about the law all the time, right? And they get engaged in the polemics and whatever it is there. He said, and this is what he said. He said, this is the problem. He said, people want it because of the influence there. But if you start talking on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, no one is interested. Really, no one is interested about God. Let's talk about the laws, about wudu and this and that. Yet, when you look, again, and I'm coming back to this point here, about the pervasiveness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's being and us invoking all the time, you will see it's available on 3 levels. One is, he's invoked by the tongue, which is dhikr. Then, he is contemplated in the mind. Meaning you are supposed to contemplate on the attribute name of Allah. He's Al-Qahhar, He's Al-Jabbar, He's Al-Latif, right? He's Al-Wadud, He's Al-Wahhab, He's Al-Razzaq. This is how you come to know Him. You contemplate Him in your mind, right? With all His attribute to the names and all that it is associated with. And then, of course, He's remembered in the heart. So you have dhikr, you have fikr, and you have qabr. Right? You remember and invoke Him with your tongue, remember Him in your heart with your dhikr, and your fikr, contemplating in your mind, right, with your fikr, and you remember Him, and subsequently that's the place where you love Him with your heart. And then Allah said, Ar-Rahmani wa Tunama Ar-Rahman, Fas'al bihi khabira. Ask those people who truly, genuinely know. Fas'alu ahla dhikr in kuntum la ta'lamun. Ask the people of dhikr. Dhikr here does not necessarily mean people are making dhikr only. No. Fas'alu ahla dhikr in kuntum la ta'lamun. And the Muslim Ummah is losing this critical thing. Allah is lost in our lives. I'll show you libraries, literally libraries, about the various laws of Islam, the issues of fiqh, jurisprudence, kalam, theology, mu'tazila, this one, ideology, you name it, I'll show you, I'll bring you libraries of them. How many books on Allah? How many books on Allah? How many books have you come across about Allah? Hey, how much do you know about Allah? How much do you know? Again, if you had to take hundreds of libraries on books of fiqh, books of kalam, you name it, I'll find libraries for it there. But wallah, to know Allah, you only require one book. You only require one book. And that book, if it is studied in terms of Allah, because Allah is the main focus of Quran. He's introducing you to Himself. He said, I haven't created man and jinn except that they should worship me. So He spends the entire time of the Holy Quran there introducing you to Himself, why He's worthy of worship. And that's the one book that we haven't studied. Nor have we done commentaries on it there in terms of explaining. Yes, hundreds, thousands of books on commentary on the ahkam, on the had, the punishment, on the issues of faith. That's why one mufti, don't give me the fatwa please, okay? One mufti wrote a Twitter feed there, right? And he started to, tried to resolve all of the confusions about fiqh. Anyway, people talk nonsense about fiqh and this whatever it is. So he called it what the fiqh. Right? He said, what the fiqh? And that's the problem today. We become so preoccupied with the fiqh that we forget the fact. We forget haqq. So I don't want to say that. I said, what about haqq? If you're a dirty man, you're going to figure that out. Really? And the scholars of yesteryear, their focus, even in spite of the fact that they were masters of jurisprudence, was on the ultimate goal. And unto your Lord is your return. I'll give you 2 examples of this. Right? Imam Ahmed bin Hanbal, the Imam of the Hanbali school of jurisprudence, was a great scholar. Right? And in Baghdad, he would be seen, he used to conduct his lessons in his university and his Darul Harb and so on. He would spend the day with his students and whatever he's teaching in Quran, Tafsir, fiqh, hadith. Master in the sciences. Right? And in the evenings, he would go around running behind a man who used to wear an ihram. 2 sets of, unstitched cloth. He wasn't in a state of ihram, but he would wear clothes that was similar to ihram. And he would be barefoot. And he was known as Bishr al-Hafi, Bishr the barefoot. Let me give you some of Bishr's history. I don't go into detail. He was a drunkard. He was a scholar, but typically, he fell off the rail, so to speak. And he ended up being a bit of an alcoholic and whatever it was. He had studied hadith and whatever it is. So, he found the name Allah, interestingly enough. He saw, when he was coming out of the tavern one evening, in his drunken stupor there, he saw, those open gases that he used to have before, he saw a piece of paper upon which Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim was written. In the drunken stupor of his day, he said, hey, Allah, the name of Allah, And in the gutter there, he picked it up there, he cleaned it up, he washed it up, he took it home there, put some itar on top of it, and he just kept it on the top. That's all he did. That's all he did. That same evening, a friend of Allah sees and hears the divine voice in his dream and says, go to Bishr Hafi and inform him that by virtue of the fact that he picked up my name from the dirty water and he cleansed it, tell him that I have cleansed his heart. By virtue of the fact that he wiped it up and purified it, tell him I purified him from his sin. By virtue of the fact that he showed that degree of honor and respect, right, for my name. Allah, this is my point here. For my name. Tell him I purified him, I fragrance him with the fragrance of Iman and Irfan. The Waliullah got up and said, no, can't be Bishr Hafi. Can't be that man. He went back to sleep. Same dream again. He gets up next morning, he couldn't wait, he runs to Bishr Hafi. Bishr Hafi comes out of the, barefoot. Right? And he gets this news from the Wali. He said, hey, that is the case there, I have to make tawbah. And from that day onwards, he never wore shoes because the day he was, so to speak, reunited with his Lord, he was barefoot. So he said, this is the entire earth is the carpet of Allah, is the carpet of the king. How can a slave walk with shoes on the carpet of the king? Okay, so Imam Ahmed bin Hanbal in the evening after teaching his students jurisprudence and fiqh and kalam and tafsir and hadith and usul and everything there, would go and run behind Ahmed Bishr al-Hafi. So people used to see this, and his students got a bit perturbed. They said, you're the greatest alim of your time. Why are you running behind Bishr Hafi? He didn't answer. Eventually, they put him under pressure. He said, it is true that I may know the law better than does he. But Bishr Hafi knows the Lord better than me. Bishr Hafi knows the Lord better than me. And he should run behind Bishr Hafi. And Bishr Hafi said, no, Imam, don't run behind me, please. He said, Haddathani an Rabbi. Haddathani an Rabbi. Oh, Bishr, inform me about my Lord. Inform me about my Lord, because that is what I'm supposed to be acquiring. His knowledge, his essence, my relationship with him. Second example, Dhunnun al-Masri. Right? Dhunnun, the man of the two fish. Dhunnun al-Masri, the man of the fish. Dhunnun al-Masri. He is reported to be also the spiritual mentor of Imam Muhammad ibn Idris al-Shafi'i. He was so preoccupied with the love of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that one day he's traveling in the desert with a whole, with a caravan or whatever it is. Right? And they come upon a treasure chest which was fallen and so on. There was gold, there was jewelry, there were rubies, there were this and that and whatever it is. Right? And as the people rushed towards the gold and the jewelry and the pearls and whatever it was inside there, Dhunnun al-Masri also came to see what's going on. And inside there, he saw a little stone tablet. He saw a stone tablet, and on that stone, plain simple stone. Plain stone tablet, and he sees the word Allah inscribed upon it. He started rushing like a madman. Right? He goes, hey, please move away. People go, what's happening to Dhunnun al-Masri? He's not a man of dunya. Why is he running? He said, go away. He started pushing people. He picked up the stone. He said, don't take everything, but give me the stone. I'll take the stone. But you have to make something fuss about it. He went, they started kissing the stone and holding the stone and everything. Started, this is the name of my beloved, is written on me, etc., etc. And he went on like this one here. And he kept the stone with him for a period of time throughout his journey. After about 3 or 4 days there, right, he sees the dream. And in the dream, he's being informed. He said, Dhunnun, for how long are you going to seek the name? For how long are you going to seek the name? Is it not time for you to now seek the named? To go beyond name? To go beyond form? To seek Him? But Allah, where are you? You are beyond space, you are beyond time. You cannot be confined to any space or time. You cannot be limited to any place or position. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, in spite of that, if you can reach a level of ibadah of mine, when you worship me as if you are seeing me, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, when you reach that level of worshipping me, the level of excellence in worship, ihsan, and when you are worshipping Allah as if you see Him, then you will come to realize what in terms of proximity, not physical, but in terms of proximity, وَنَحْنُ أَقْرَبُ إِلَيْهِ مِنْ حَبْلِ الْوَرِيدِ, that I am closer to you than your own jugular vein. And in terms of companionship, to be with Allah, Allah will tell you, you come to realize, وَهُوَ مَعَكُمْ أَيْنَمَا كُنْتُمْ, He is with you wherever you may be. This ummah has forgotten this. This ummah is so preoccupied with this reified Islam that we are on the brink of deifying it. Right? And we have forgotten Allah. That's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, قُلِ اللَّهِ, say Allah, ثُمَّ ذَرْهُمْ فِي قَوْلِهِمْ يَلْعَبُونَ, because that Allah the invocation of Allah, the contemplation of Allah, the remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is what is the key to everything else. And that is the greatest knowledge that we have to acquire. And wallah, this ummah needs to revise its syllabi. I've been to a few Darul rooms in the recent 2 or 3 weeks, and I kept on watching, the curriculum. Excellent, mashallah, they're doing a far better job than I can ever even aspire to do. But the one thing that is critically missing in all of these institutions of learning, as well as in our masajid, is that people are not being introduced to Allah. We don't talk about Him. We mention Him absent-mindedly. Even when we are supposed to be sitting in halqa the dhikr, right? He is the third person. Why I say third person is because one, we are preoccupied with ourselves, how we're making the dhikr. Secondly, he is there, we're so preoccupied with the way we're making the dhikr. Allah, however we want to do it. And thirdly, we're just chanting the name on our hearts, on our tongues. That's about it. And Allah is not focused in our minds. He's not imprinted on our hearts and our souls. He's just being mentioned absent-mindedly in our tongues. And the ummah needs to return to this. Wallah, we've stopped becoming Allah conscious. We are conscious about the laws, we are conscious about jurisprudence, we are conscious about faith, we are conscious about all of this, right? What will break my salah, right? And what happens when your attention breaks from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? If you ask the mufti, what happens, oh mufti, that you know what, yes, I know what are nawaqid of salah, what breaks my salah, and all of this in nawaqid of wudu, right? But if my attention veers away from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when I'm saying Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, all praise is due to the Lord of the world, Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim, Maliki Yawmiddin, and when I think of Malik, I think of my bank manager, they're thinking, when will you give me another? Right? And then after thinking of my bank manager, I'm like, Iyaka na'budu, you alone we worship, O dollar, and not Allah. Right? And if you alone we ask, Iyaka nasta'in, ask yourself, when did your salah break there? And how do you make i'ada of that salah? How do you correct that? Do you make it sajda sahw? What do you do? Really, we're losing touch of these things here. Right? Again, these are the 10 things that the people have to say about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But the Quran says, define Allah, describe Allah, Allah, khalas. Allah tells you from the Quran, Allah is like this, Allahu la ilaha illa, Allahu la ilaha, Allahu khaliqu kulli shay, Allahu yabda'u al-khalq. He tells you who He is. It's a pity we don't want to know. Allah is talking in inshallah.
We are the Muslim Ummah.
Alhamdulillah, 1 in 5 people in the world is a Muslim. But have we considered that 4 out of 5 people may die without Islam? 4 out of 5 may never get the chance to read the glorious Holy Quran. Become a lifetime partner with the Islamic Propagation Center International Dawah Quran Project and help bring real solutions to the 4 out of 5 people searching for answers. By sponsoring a Holy Quran, you give the gift of life, real life. IPCI, Dawah Quran Project. It's time to get involved.
Call IPCI now. IPCI, encircling the globe with the message of Islam.
والعاقبة للمتقين والجنة للموحدين ولا عدوان إلا على الظالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه والتابعين لهم وعلينا معهم أجمعين. أما بعد، فيا أيها الناس، يقول الله سبحانه وتعالى في محكم كتابه بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم، بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم: المال والبنون زينة الحياة الدنيا. صدق الله العظيم وصدق رسوله النبي الحبيب الكريم، ونحن على ذلك لمن الشاهدين والشاكرين والعاملين والحمد لله رب العالمين. All praise is due to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, our creator, our sustainer, our provider, our cherisher, and the greatest of salutation in abundance upon His most beloved Habib, our master and master of both the worlds, Sayyidina wa Maulana Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam, upon his noble and illustrious of companions, the Sahaba Ikram, and upon his noble and purified household Ahlul Bayt Ajma'in. Respected ulama kiram, respected huffaz, qurra, brothers, sisters showing Islam, I greet you with the universal greetings of peace. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala.